What up? How is it going? Sasa hii historia ya Ebola facility, Ebola quarantine facility yenye inajengwa na nyuki. I think I've seen reports that it's supposed to be built by Friday, or it's supposed to be starting to be built by Friday, which I think is a very good thing, and it's good. And here is the reason why I think it's good. It's good that when you're negotiating for some of these things, I see the DCP guys, you know, the opposition, I don't know whether they're united or disunited. They are always thinking of ways of opposing whatever the government is trying to do. And it's very unfortunate that they're not thinking of ways of making that the country, making sure that the country at least gets a better deal. And the better deal, I think, would be that when we are negotiating for some of these things, we negotiate for them not to give us money. I would not prefer money, however much it might be. I would prefer a situation where they build a similar facility or even a better one for public use in a place where we might choose. You know, why don't they build a facility for quarantine? If Ebola is coming from Uganda, the DRC, you know, the Central African Republic, the Congo Brazzaville, and so on, why don't we build a similar facility in Kisumu? You have a proper, health ecosystem there. We have, Cambridge CDC. We have HIV and HIV/AIDS prevention and containment teams there. So Kisumu, I think, is very well suited, and the Western Kenya circuit is very well suited to handle some of these major facilities for quarantine, for handling. I would prefer, I know that the Kisumu people will make a lot of noise when I say that, I would prefer that they build that thing in Western Kenya, especially Kisumu or Siaya or, Busia, the western side of the country, so that those people who oppose it, because this thing is going to be built in Nanyuki, but I see that people are vigorously opposing such an idea. Build the facility in Kisumu, build it in Siaya, let it remain a public facility for quarantine. For next time when you have an outbreak of either a very infectious disease, then the government now has built a capacity with other development partners, to handle such diseases. Do you guys think that Ebola will never arrive in Kenya? At some point it will get here. And at some point, it might even not get to Kisumu. It might be found that the first infection you will get of Ebola will be in Mombasa, or will be in Nanyuki, or will be, yesterday you had a prayer breakfast, which was attended by the president. And that prayer breakfast, the attendees were from Uganda. Good number of the attendees were from Uganda. Where there is already some infections, some detections have been realized there. So when you are refusing some of these partnerships, I think you're just being stupid. I think you're just being the normal opposition with no ideas of how to, to get a better deal out of a very unfortunate situation. But now, because William Ruto is at the center of things, unasema tu one term. Haufikiri kwamba hata hao wenye wanasema one term na wanakimbia huko, wanaenda Busia, sasa hizi wanaenda Machakos. And in those big rallies, you guys will find yourself having Ebola. Now we have direct flights between Kisumu and Uganda, through the Kisumu International Airport. How do you guys think that there is not going to be an infection in those places? Let's stop being stupid, man. If we want the country to modernize, we must hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Thank you.